bout of the evening is an elimination kickboxing bout scheduled for 3 2-minute rounds in the welterweight division. This fight is brought to you by Sparta Media Group. Out of the red corner, Abe Yoser.
All right, Sparta Fight fans, our first kickboxing fight of the night. Mr. Abe Yoser going to make his way to the cage. Mr. Yoser represents Calculated Violence MMA. Good name for a team. I like it. This is amateur or elimination division kickboxing, so it's 3 2-minute rounds, no elbows. Clinching will be kept to a very minimum. You're allowed to trap a kicking technique as long as you immediately throw a follow-up technique. You're not allowed to catch, pause, or catch and step. Take steps and then throw a technique. You do catch that leg, it has to be an immediate follow-up, otherwise the referee will break the fighters. See the corner of Mr. Yoser there, giving them instructions, just breathe. Always good advice in fight and in life. Use the Vaseline over the cheeks, the brow of the nose, and the eyebrows. That way, if the leather of the glove or the vinyl of the glove hits, it'll slide off as opposed to catching and causing a skin tear. So it's a safety precaution for the fighters and allows the fights to continue. Otherwise, you just end up with a lot of stoppages via cut that wasn't necessarily that much damage.
Fighting out of the blue corner, Seth Turpin.
Mr. Turpin comes to us representing Rad Muay Thai. Fighters are in the 145-pound division. The lower weight divisions, of course, you always expect good speed, great conditioning, lots of very fast technique. Both these fighters tonight making their fight debut. As we said, this Fight Night series is a showcase for fighters newer to the sport. That's what we're getting to see here. From the new guys all the way up to the very best in the world, we have Mr. Drew Dober here with us this evening from the UFC. He's a Colorado fighter here checking out the local scene. Always appreciate having the upper echelon fighters in the crowd. Mr. Yoser, the younger at 24 years old versus Turpin, Yoser at 20 versus Turpin at 24. 6 foot tall for Yoser, so he has the advantage versus the 5'9" Turpin. Of course, they both made way to 145. And Yoser debuting as a striker versus Turpin, who lists himself as Muay Thai.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is an elimination kickboxing bout scheduled for 3 2-minute rounds in the welterweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the King of Beers Budweiser red corner. He is a striker standing 6 foot tall. He weighed in at 145 pounds with Calculated Violence MMA out of Lincoln, Nebraska. Yoser! Fighting out of the Larry H. Miller Volkswagen blue corner. He is a Muay Thai fighter standing 5'9" inches tall. He weighed in at 145 pounds with Rad Muay Thai from Aurora, Colorado, Seth Turpin!
Fighters, you've been given your instructions in the dressing room. Protect yourselves at all times and obey my commands at all times. I expect a clean, fair fight. Touch gloves now if you'd like.
Yoser with the black trunks, Turpin wearing the blue and red trunks. 3 2-minute rounds, so not a lot of time to have feeling out or get things going. So expect a fairly quick start by both these guys. We'll again thank Mr. Yoser for making the long drive from Nebraska to be here on the card this evening. Spinning back fist by Yoser off of the trapped kick. Nice technique. Shows good ring awareness. Turpin with the lean back. Very much a Muay Thai stance and style with his hand positions being shown early by Turpin. Yoser aware of his reach advantage and using it well, and that's really nicely done by a fighter young in his career to use those physical advantages early on. A lot of times fighter doesn't realize what they have, and that is not the case with Yoser. Yoser again had a nice series of strikes off the trap. Turpin didn't allow the follow-up techniques that time as he tried to step through with the sweep. Both these fighters very poised early on. Thrown with good intent, throwing accurate strikes. And as this is a kickboxing bout, knee strikes not allowed here.
No knees, no shots to the blood. Time in, fight!
Yoser given a moment to recover and see how much Turpin pressures forward here to get us restarted. Good head kick by both fighters. Started out by Yoser and Turpin answered nicely. Corner of Yoser calling for the leg kicks. Oh, and he throws a brutal one. Well done listening to his corner and nice application of the technique. Immediate redness on the back of the leg of Yoser, Turpin. So you can see exactly where that strike landed, and that's why it pulled him down to the ground. Well done, nice targeting by Yoser. Turpin, the rad Muay Thai fighter, not using the stool this evening. Hands on the cage up in the air, opens up the rib cage, allow the lungs to expand. Get that recovery breathing going on. You have that 1 minute to try to refresh yourself between rounds. Here on the replay, we see Yoser doing a nice job of managing the distance, working that height advantage. He blocks the kick and then strikes from the outside with accuracy. Well done by Yoser. All right, cage doors locked. We're off with round 2 action. Round 1 was a good one. Yoser continues to work from the outside. Oh, and another nice leg kick, and that made Turpin have to kind of shake it out a little bit there. And I believe Mr. Yoser has a target now. That's going to be the left leg of Turpin. Turpin does a very nice job of trapping techniques, and just as nice, Yoser has counters for when he is trapped. Something a lot of fighters don't work, but it appears Yoser seems to have worked those trap counters very technically. More brutal leg kick being shown by Yoser. Oh, and again, that one turned Turpin a little bit. Turpin's leg starting to redden up there. That one hit right at the knee joint. Turpin pushes forward with intent. Throwing hard strikes is Turpin. And Yoser again brutalizing that lead leg. Looking over at Drew Dober, and he's just loving this. Mr. Dober comes from Nebraska, so even though he's a Colorado fighter now, he might have little love for Yoser. Certainly enjoying the techniques being displayed here. As good a work as Yoser is doing with his leg kicks, I hear his corner, and they're telling him to work more punches. Oh, and another brutalizing leg kick by Yoser to end the round. He's going to get a count for that, is Turpin, and then bell's going to ring once they're allowed to re-engage, and they'll take it back to their corners. Yoser with a good round, scoring the knockdown, got the count. Having to shake that leg out over there is Turpin, and boy, that is something that's going to hurt tomorrow, my goodness. Well, let me correct myself. It's not going to wait until tomorrow to hurt. Yoser saw that he was having nice effect with those leg kicks and went back to that well a number of times, and wisely so in my opinion, because it scored him the knockdown, so a guaranteed win of round number 2 for Mr. Yoser. All right, we'll see how Turpin fares, coming out having to stand on that injured leg there. Obviously, Yoser going to have an even more prevalent target. See if Yoser goes immediately to the kick or tries to set up a couple others to draw attention away from it. Second technique he throws is a leg kick. Oh, and a good head kick by Yoser. Turpin had his guard in place nice, blocked that well. Turpin traps the kick, able to push his opponent down. Does not count as a knockdown, but looks good for the judges. Yoser had a nice right cross there. Oh, and Turpin is hurt. He's staggered. And 2 more serious leg kicks by Yoser. Turpin, no quit. This gentleman continues to pressure forward. Haven't seen much out of a kicking game by Turpin, looking to rely primarily on his hands. And throwing with power and intent now. 45 seconds left in the round. That leg kick was a little more across the front of the thigh, so not damaging the area that had been hit as much earlier in the round. Turpin able to bridge that gap. I was just about to say Yoser was doing a good job of keeping his distance again, but Turpin closed in, landed a couple of his better punches of the fight, and again Turpin steps forward, throwing some powerful strikes. Turpin showing some wear and tear, drops his hands, takes a couple of deep breaths, and it's going to be another 8 count there. There's only 5 seconds left in the bout. See if Turpin's able to get himself back up and re-engage here. What grit by Turpin. Well done by the Rad Muay Thai fighter. Much respect, sir, but Mr. Yoser with the knockdown in rounds 2 and 3. Well done by the Nebraska fighter. And he acknowledges Drew Dover. Checking out things on the replay here. Turpin a couple times able to close the distance, which Yoser primarily did a really, really nice job managing. Shows good coaching, been in the gym getting his work in. That was the kick that Turpin blocked so very nicely and then answered back with big power. A couple of the more purposeful punches in the fight for Turpin, but Yoser goes back to working that leg kick, and see if we can get a replay of the knockdown here. That's where I referenced the Turpin, looking like he was pretty weathered. And boom, there it is. That's the one that puts him down to the mat. Got a 10 count on that. Between that and the one that happened in the second round, that's pretty much going to guarantee a win for Yoser. Take it up to Stewie.
Ladies and gentlemen, we just witnessed a 3-round battle. Give these fighters a round of applause. They laid it on the line, and we go to judges' scorecards for the decision. All 3 judges have scored this bout 30-25, declaring your winner by unanimous decision, Abe Yoser!
Congratulations to the Nebraska fighter. Abe Yoser goes home with the victory. Looking very good with his kickboxing skills. Hopefully we'll get to see this young man again. And again, we're checking things out here on the replay and see Turpin trying to bridge that gap. Yoser knows that he wants to have some distance, so circular footwork off the cage, goes to attacking that obvious target that he had. He'd already scored a knockdown in the second round with it. Saw that Turpin was wounded, and did a very nice job of setting up attacks to the leg. And boom, there it is again. And Turpin almost trapped that kick, as he did so well throughout the fight a number of times. But Yoser, just as nicely, always had a counter for having his techniques trapped. And you can see when Turpin takes that kick, it just folds his leg, even if only momentarily. As the fighter on the other end of that being Yoser, you just know that you've got your opponent in a bad position once that starts to happen. You can see that they're unable to put weight on that leg, shuts down their mobility, disallows the ability to use that lead leg as a striking weapon.